I came back to forgive, but the truth I found demanded revenge. The message came when I was halfway home. I was sitting on the bus, watching the empty fields pass by, when my phone buzzed. I didn't expect anything, so I checked it casually. But the moment I read the words, something inside me collapsed. Please don't come. We need a drama-free wedding. For a second, I thought I misread it. My mother's name sat above the message, cold and clear. And right under it, a small thumbs-up reaction appeared. My sister had liked it. It felt like someone had reached into my chest and squeezed my heart until it cracked. 7 years away, 7 years without a word from them, and this was how they welcomed me back, by telling me to stay away like I was some problem, some stain they didn't want in their celebration. I stared at the screen for a long time, waiting for a just kidding, or a second message explaining it was a mistake. Nothing came. The bus hummed, the wind whistled through the cracked window, and the world moved on like nothing had happened. But inside me, everything froze. I locked my phone, leaned my head against the cold glass, and let the silence swallow me. I had tried, truly tried, to build a new life far away. But every night, the memories found me, the arguments, the messages, the lies, the moment everything fell apart with Aisha, and how my family stood behind it like shadows, whispering things that pushed me farther and farther away. Coming home after 7 years felt like reopening an old wound. But even wounds need air to heal. I told myself I'd stay strong, but the truth was simple. That one message hurt more than anything else they'd ever done to me. When the bus finally stopped at the old station, I stepped out slowly. The air smelled like dust and distant rain. The town looked exactly how I remembered it. Small shops, narrow streets, faded signboards, and a silence that carried memories in every corner. Nothing had changed. Except me. I walked with my bag slung over my shoulder, my footsteps echoing on the uneven stones. People looked familiar but distant, like ghosts of a past I wasn't sure I wanted to return to. And then, as I crossed the market road, the smell hit me. Fresh bread, warm sugar, a hint of cardamom. The bakery. Her bakery. I didn't plan to stop. I didn't plan anything. But my feet moved on their own, carrying me closer. Through the glass window I saw her. Aisha. She stood behind the counter, sleeves rolled up, hair tied in a loose bun that always slipped to one side. She was wiping flour off her hands, humming softly, her face tired yet peaceful, like someone who had learned to live with pain quietly. My heart stumbled. 7 years. 7 whole years since the night everything broke. 7 years since I left without looking back. I didn't expect her to look up. But she did. Her eyes met mine. For a moment, the world around us went silent. No customers, no cars, no voices. Just her breath catching and my heartbeat stumbling like it forgot how to function. You're back, she said, her voice barely above a whisper. I nodded, unsure if I should smile or apologize or simply disappear. Just for a few days. Her eyes softened, then dimmed again, like a curtain falling. A quiet wall rose between us, thin, but strong enough to hurt. She looked away, pretending to rearrange a tray of pastries. I stood there awkwardly, feeling like a stranger in a place that once felt like home. The last time we met, we were both drenched in rain. Both shouting. Both begging the other to understand. And then, silence. Silence that lasted years. I didn't blame her for the distance. I deserved it. I believed things I shouldn't have believed. I trusted the wrong voices. I let one message, one rumor, bury everything we had. And now, looking at her, all those old memories rushed back. The late-night walks, the laughter, the plans we made, the promises we whispered. I swallowed hard. How have you been? She gave me a small smile, one that didn't reach her eyes. I manage. Her tone was gentle, but distant. Not angry. Not warm. Just distant. I wanted to ask 1,000 things. I wanted to explain everything. I wanted to tell her I didn't mean to hurt her. But I couldn't. The words stayed trapped inside me. The bell above the bakery door rang as a customer walked in, and Aisha turned away quickly, acting busy. Her hands moved fast, faster than needed, as if she wanted the moment to end. I stepped back, giving her space. The customer bought 2 loaves of bread and left. Aisha exhaled like she'd been holding her breath the entire time. Her eyes flicked toward me once more, softer this time. Maybe curious. Maybe confused. I didn't think you'd come back, she said softly. I wasn't planning to, I replied. But I needed to. She nodded slowly, as if she understood exactly what that meant. Outside, the sky turned golden as the sun began to set. The shadows stretched across the street, touching her window, touching my memory of her. I should let you work, I said quietly. She nodded again, but didn't look away this time. For a second, her expression softened, fragile, almost hopeful, as if something inside her wanted to say more. But she didn't. I stepped outside, the warm smell of bread fading behind me. The evening breeze brushed against my face, carrying the sound of children playing somewhere far away. 7 years ago, I would have walked back inside just to see her smile again. Today, I felt like I didn't deserve it. As I walked down the street, her voice replayed in my mind. You're back. There was something hidden in her tone, something she didn't want me to hear. A secret, a hurt, a question. And although she didn't say it, I felt it. Why now? Why after all these years? Why did you leave me when I needed you most? I didn't have an answer. Not yet. Maybe not ever. But as I left the bakery behind, I knew one thing. Coming home was not going to be simple. Not with the past waiting for me around every corner. Not with my family pushing me away again. And especially not with Aisha's eyes still lingering in my mind, full of a story she never got to finish. Evenings settled over the town like a slow, soft curtain. Shops began closing one by one, metal shutters sliding down with tired groans. The sky held a deep orange glow, fading into purple at the edges. It was the kind of evening that made the world feel quieter, heavier, almost honest. I told myself I needed a cup of coffee, but that wasn't true. I needed answers. I needed to see her again. My feet walked me back to the bakery before my mind could decide if it was a good idea. The warm yellow light inside made the place look small and safe, almost like a home. Aisha was still there, wiping the tables even though they were already clean. Her movements were slow, tired, like she was trying to keep herself busy so her thoughts wouldn't catch up to her. She looked up when the bell above the door chimed. I didn't know if she was surprised or disappointed. Maybe both. She tried to smile. It wasn't real, but it wasn't cold either. You're back, she said softly. Yeah, I replied, feeling strangely nervous. I needed some coffee. You always use that excuse, she said with a tiny smirk, almost remembering something, almost slipping into the past. Maybe, I said. Old habits. She turned away, walking behind the counter. Her steps were uneven, like her mind was far away. She poured the coffee slowly, almost mechanically, as if her hands remembered the routine even when her thoughts didn't. You heard about the wedding? She asked without looking up. I swallowed the bitterness rising in my chest. Yeah. Mom texted me. Aisha paused, mid-pour. I could see her shoulders tense. What did she say? I let out a rough laugh, quiet, but full of pain. She said they want a drama-free wedding. Told me not to come. Aisha set the cup on the counter carefully, but her hands trembled. I'm sorry, she whispered. You don't have to be. My voice came out heavy. They made their choice a long time ago. She finally looked at me fully, and for the first time, I saw something deep in her eyes. Guilt, sadness, something she kept locked for years. It broke something inside me. She stepped closer, her voice barely steady. You left suddenly, she said. No goodbye. No explanation. You just disappeared. Her words weren't angry. They were wounded. And the wound was still open. You know why, I said quietly, though even I wasn't sure anymore. She stared at me, hurt, confused, holding back a storm. Do I? She whispered. Because I never understood. One day we were planning our future, and the next day you were gone. I clenched my jaw. The old memory played inside my head like a broken film. Rain falling hard. My mother shouting. A message on my phone. A rumor. A lie. Aisha crying on the porch, begging me to listen. Me turning my back. I thought. I started, but the word stuck. I didn't know how to explain a mistake that destroyed 2 lives. She didn't let me finish. You believed a lie, she said, voice cracking. You believed what others said about me. You didn't ask me. You didn't trust me enough to hear my side." Her eyes glistened, but she blinked the tears away quickly, like she was used to hiding them. "That night," she continued, "I waited for you. I waited the whole night thinking you'd come back, thinking you'd ask me the truth. But you didn't." Guilt hit me like a punch. I remembered pacing my room, reading and rereading that message that had destroyed everything. I remembered wanting to go to her, but then my mother's voice drowning my thoughts, telling me to leave, telling me Aisha had betrayed me. Maybe I had chosen the easier path. Running away was always easier than facing the truth. Aisha picked up a tray, but her hand shook so badly she almost dropped it. She set it down quickly, turning away. There was something in the way she moved. Fear, hesitation, a heaviness she was trying to hide. Something inside her wasn't just hurt. It was struggling. "Aisha," I said gently, "what are you hiding from me?" She froze. It was small, a tiny pause, but enough for me to notice. She drew in a shaky breath, her fingers curling around the edge of the counter. "I'm not hiding anything," she whispered, but her voice didn't match the words. It wavered. Her eyes flickered toward the back room, quick and unintentional. A movement she didn't mean to make. I caught it immediately. "There's something you're not telling me," I said quietly. She closed her eyes for a second, as if trying to steady herself. When she opened them, there was fear in them now, real, raw fear. "I'm just tired," she said. But her tone wasn't tired. It was protective. Of what? Of who? The silence between us deepened. Not the awkward kind. The heavy kind, the kind that holds secrets tightly. She stepped back, putting distance between us. Not physically, but emotionally. She folded her arms like she was scared her heart would spill out if she didn't hold it in place. "You shouldn't have come back," she whispered. "Why not?" I asked. "What are you so afraid of?" She looked at me with eyes that held 7 years of pain. 7 years of something she carried alone. "You being here," she whispered, "it changes things." "What things?" She didn't answer. Instead, she walked to the door and gently locked it, turning the sign to closed. Her hand shook the whole time. I watched her carefully. There was fear in her breaths, worry in her eyes, and something like guilt in the way she avoided looking at me. A small, terrified voice inside her was whispering something she couldn't say out loud. But even without words, I could feel it. She wasn't just hiding a memory. She was hiding a truth. A living truth. Something, or someone, she had been protecting from me. The air felt thick now, heavy with unspoken stories. My heartbeat slowed, steady but tense. Her eyes kept drifting toward the back room despite her best effort to act normal. I took one step toward her. "Aisha," I said softly, "look at me." She did. And in that moment, with her eyes glassy and frightened and full of something she couldn't hide anymore, I knew the truth wasn't far. Something in her life still connected to me. Something she had kept hidden for a long time. Something she wasn't ready to reveal, but couldn't hide forever. The night outside grew darker. Inside the bakery, between us, the truth trembled, waiting for the moment it would finally break free. Night had fully settled over the town by the time I walked past the bakery again. The streets were quiet, lit only by a few flickering lamps that cast long, lonely shadows across the ground. Most of the shops had closed. Only the faint glow coming from the bakery window broke the darkness. Something inside me pulled me closer. Not curiosity. Not anger. Something deeper. Something like a truth calling my name. My footsteps slowed as I reached the door. Before I could knock, it opened. Aisha stood there, her face pale under the dim lights, her eyes soft but uncertain. She looked like someone who had been fighting a storm alone for far too long. "Come inside," she whispered. Her voice carried a heaviness I had never heard before. I followed her in, the bell above the door giving a small, lonely ring, like it knew something important was about to happen. The bakery was dim, quiet, and cold. The sweet smell of bread lingered, but something else hung in the air too. Fear, hope, and the weight of 7 silent years. Aisha led me toward the back room. My steps slowed. My heartbeat grew loud. Something inside me sensed what was coming, but I didn't want to believe it. Not until I saw it. A small figure sat on a wooden chair near the shelves. A little boy. He had curly hair, soft brown eyes, a gentle face. He looked up when we entered, holding a piece of paper in his tiny hands. A drawing, a house, a tree, a smiley sun. When his eyes met mine, something inside me cracked open. Recognition hit me so hard I had to hold onto the doorframe for a moment. Because those eyes, those were my eyes. My breath stopped. Time stopped. The boy smiled shyly, like children do when they see someone new. He had dimples. My dimples. My voice trembled as I whispered, "Aisha, who is he?" Her lips parted, and tears gathered in her eyes instantly. "He's your son," she said softly. Our son." The world tilted for a moment, not in a shocking, dramatic way, but in a slow, heavy shift, like the earth itself had moved beneath my feet. I stared at him. His small hands, his innocent face, his curious eyes watching me like he already felt some connection. My son. My child. I tried to speak, but my words broke inside my chest. Why didn't you tell me? Aisha's tears fell freely now. She knelt beside the boy, gently brushing his hair back. He leaned into her touch with the trust of someone who had known only one parent his whole life. "I tried," she whispered, voice shaking. "I tried so many times." She looked up at me then, eyes full of pain, sorrow, and a truth she had carried all alone. "But your family," she said, swallowing hard. "They made sure you never knew." I felt something burn inside me. Anger, heartbreak, disbelief. My mother. I whispered, "My sister." Aisha nodded slowly. "They told me you didn't want anything to do with us. They said you moved on, that contacting you would only ruin your new life." She paused, voice trembling. "Your sister came to see me. She warned me not to reach out. She said if I tried to tell you, they would make sure my life became hell." I stared at her in shock. Every memory from that time began twisting inside my head. Every message, every rumor, every lie my family fed me. "They said you betrayed me," I said quietly. "They told me things that made me walk away." Aisha's eyes softened with sadness. "I never betrayed you," she whispered. "And I never stopped loving you." My knees felt weak. 7 years. 7 years of losing a child I didn't even know I had. 7 years of Aisha raising him alone. I took a step forward, unable to stop myself. The boy looked up at me again, curious, innocent. "What's his name?" I asked. A small smile appeared on Aisha's lips. "Aham," she whispered. "It means mercy." The name hit me in the chest. The boy, Aham, held up his drawing shyly. A house, a tree, a man, a woman, a child holding both their hands, a family. My throat closed. Did he ever ask about me? I asked quietly. Aisha nodded. "He asks every night," she said. "He asks why he doesn't have a father like the other kids." I never knew what to tell him. So I told him, his father was a good man who just didn't know yet. My vision blurred. I blinked the tears away before they could fall. Aisha stood slowly, her hands trembling. "When I saw the message your mother sent you today," she whispered, "I didn't react for their sake. I reacted for you." I frowned. "What do you mean?" She stepped closer. "You always believed them," she said. "You trusted their words over mine. But tonight, when they told you not to come to the wedding, I wanted you to finally see what they're capable of." Her voice cracked. "I wanted you to see the truth with your own eyes." For the first time, I understood. Not the lies, not the past, but the pain. Aisha wasn't hiding my son from me. She had been protecting him. From the same people who tore us apart. Everything felt heavy, but not confusing anymore. The pieces fit. The lies were clear. The truth was alive, standing right in front of me. I took a deep breath. "I'm not going to their wedding," I said quietly. Aisha looked surprised. "You're not?" No, I looked at Aham, at the innocence that had survived 7 years of pain. They wanted a drama-free wedding. They didn't want me there. I paused. "So I will give them the exact thing they fear the most." Aisha's eyes softened in confusion. "What's that?" I smiled softly. not out of happiness, but out of clarity. My absence, I said, and my silence. Because sometimes silence is sharper than any weapon. Sometimes walking away is louder than any confrontation. I turned back to Aisha. I'm staying, I said, if you'll let me. Her lips trembled as she whispered, I never wanted you to leave. Aham stared at me with wide, hopeful eyes. He didn't understand everything, but he felt something. I bent down slowly, kneeling to his height. He blinked at me, curious, shy, but brave. Hi, Aham, I said softly. I'm your father. He didn't say anything for a moment. Then he stepped forward, small, unsure steps, and placed his tiny hand in mine. Just like that, everything changed. The past didn't disappear. The pain didn't vanish. But for the first time in 7 years, something began to heal. The wedding went on without me. The family celebrated without me. And they noticed. Oh, they noticed. That I didn't come. Silence echoed louder than any drama. And here, in this small bakery, standing beside the two people I loved the most, I finally felt like I had come home. Final line. They wanted a drama-free wedding, so I gave them the only thing they couldn't control, my silence.